Hey everyone, so we're back answering more winter gardening questions, and guess what we were doing this morning? You betcha, we were out unpacking our row cover, getting ready to protect our winter veggies in our garden, because it's going to get pretty cold on Thanksgiving evening here. It's going to be like down into around 15, 16, something like that in the teens, so we got to get a little extra protection for our veggies here. But hey, we got quite a bit more winter gardening questions we're going to go try and go through. So let's jump right in here. And Gordon writes in and says, what should I do to prepare my raspberries and blueberry bushes for winter? Also my asparagus. Great question, Gordon. Now there's two different types of raspberries. There's ever-bearing raspberries, and there's like a late summer - fall raspberry. The ever-bearing ones will produce kind of two crops in the summer and then in the fall, and the fall or summer bearing raspberries just produce one crop, like at the late summer and fall. Now, what we usually do is we just have the one crop in the late summer - fall, and with those you can just prune back your raspberry plants, just cut them down to a few inches off the ground, let them regrow in the spring, and they produce in the late fall. Otherwise, if you have the raspberries that are going to give you the two crops, what you can do is in the fall, cut back any of the old stalks, the stalks that have already borne raspberries. They'll turn kind of brown. You cut back all of those, you leave the other stalks and let them overwinter, and then you just continue that pruning throughout your season as well, cutting back the old stalks and any small ones as well. And they should continue fruiting for you in the summer and into the fall. Now, blueberry bushes, they don't really need protection during the winter in most places, and so we just pretty much leave them, and so you don't really have to do much with your blueberries. Your asparagus, you want to wait until your asparagus dies, gets killed by the frost, the stalks turn brown, then you can just cut them off at the ground, mulch your asparagus bed, and wait for spring. If you live in a place where you get a lot of snow, it may actually just push your asparagus stems and fronds down onto the ground, and they can just become part of the mulch for your asparagus. So, hey, great question. All right, next question is by Folami, and it says, what is the best way to prepare my raised bed for spring in the winter? Excellent question. Number one is you can get your raised bed prepared to plant in during the fall and the winter, and one way you can do that is you just loosen the soil, take any old garden plants out, put them on your compost pile, loosen your soil. You can even add some compost or gardening amendments into your soil, rake it off, and get it all ready so it's just ready to go in the spring. That's one thing. And the other thing is that if you want to, you can put like a silage tarp, which is like a thick plastic, over your garden bed, and it will keep any weeds from growing in it over the winter. And as spring comes on, your weed seeds will sprout and then they'll die, and you can get a head start on your weeds that way as well. So that's a bonus little tip there. Excellent, excellent question. All right, next question here from Rantine says, what vegetables can I grow in Gulfport, Mississippi right now? Great question. Gulfport, Mississippi, you know, you're in a little warmer location than some of us. You know, you're still dipping below freezing though, or at least you will during the winter, where you get down maybe like what, 20, 25, maybe a little bit lower if you're depending on exactly your location there. But there's a lot of things that you can grow. Radishes, lettuce, it's your leafy greens and your root crops that are your most of your winter ones. And if you're wondering what you can grow right now, it's probably lettuce, radishes, like I said. You might be able to grow some spinach. It depends on your area. As the day length shortens, your crops slow down in growth. So even what you plant right now may take a while for it to actually come to a place of maturity. But those are some ideas of the things that you can be growing. Baby greens is something that you could be growing, and microgreens is something that you can be growing for sure as well. All right, Judy says, in transplanting a moringa tree 6 foot to a larger pot, one of the few larger roots broke, and the roots near the top of the soil too now looks like it's dying. Is there a chance of survival? Good news, Judy, is that there definitely is a chance of survival. Of course, I can't promise you anything, and different plants handle transplanting in different ways. Some, it's a lot harder on them for their roots to be disturbed, especially if a big one is broken off. But it doesn't, even though it may have had a setback and it looks like it's dying, it doesn't mean that it's totally dead yet. So keep on caring for it as best you can. Give it the nutrients, whatever nutrients you can give it, keep it watered well, and just kind of baby it. Do the best that you can, and hopefully, we hope and pray that it will pull around for you there. All right, Pam says, all fall and winter, I throw my kitchen scraps on the garden to get tilled in the spring. This isn't a bad practice, is it? Great question, Pam. And no, it's not necessarily a bad practice. Now, one thing that you do want to consider is when you till those in to your garden in the spring, organic matter is best when you give it some time to decompose before you start growing your crops in the same garden soil. So if you till them in the spring, I would want to leave them for a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks, depending on your garden scraps, how quickly and how well they break down. But you want to at least leave them for a couple weeks before you actually plant your plants in, which may postpone actually planting your plants into your garden. So in general, I would suggest using a compost pile. But if you do want to do that, you can do it. I would just suggest leaving a couple weeks before you actually plant your plants in after tilling them into the ground. Great question though. All right, just a few more here. Paul says, how do you overwinter mums that have been in pots? I have already put them in the ground. Do I trim them back? What about watering? He's in zone 6B, South Idaho. Great question, Paul. Yes, I would trim the mums back to a few inches above the ground because it looks like you've actually planted them into the ground. You do want to keep them moist over the winter. And I forget that, in fact, I should say, I don't know exactly the exact die-off temperature for mums, like how cold it has to get for it to just completely kill the plant. So you might want to look that up, and if needed, you may need to frost protect them just a little bit with like a little row cover or something, but otherwise you should be able to just leave them outside and they will grow back when spring comes around. All right. 2 more questions here. Linda says, I planted my winter cabbage too late for it to develop full heads, even though by dates it should be mature. All look like healthy plants. If I can keep them alive in a low tunnel over winter, will they continue to mature and give me heads early next spring? Or is it better to cut and use the leaves as I have and start over in the spring? I would say, Linda, I would keep them alive over the winter and let them regrow in the spring. They will start growing again as spring comes around, and you should be able to still get a cabbage off of them. If not, in the spring, if they don't actually form a full head for you, you could still definitely get the leaves in the spring. But yeah, I would give it a try, give it a shot, let them grow over the winter, keep them alive, and see what kind of cabbage you can get in the spring. And last question here, Pamela says, I'm looking forward to doing more gardening this next summer. My husband suffered a stroke in July. I am so sorry, Pamela. So have not even had much time to watch all your good information. But my question is, if I don't have time for a winter garden this year, outside anyway, do you recommend microgreens for winter nutrition? And can we grow them indoors? I brought a grow light a few years back, but didn't have much success with the plants. Thanks for any advice. We're trying to eat more healthy. Excellent question, and I just want to encourage you, Pamela, you're absolutely on the right track, and I would highly suggest growing microgreens for nutrition. They are so nutritious, up to 40 times the nutrient value in a microgreen of the adult plants. And so, yes, absolutely, and they're super easy to grow even inside, and like you were saying here with your grow light, that's just going to make it so much easier to grow them inside. In fact, we've got a full training walking step by step through how to grow microgreens. So if you want a link to that, just email me and I'll send you that. We do the training in our gardening membership as well. So microgreens are one of the best ways to grow healthy, just power-packed, nutrient-dense food in the winter. If you don't have a place to grow outside, or you haven't had the time, or you can't grow outside right now, microgreens are just the bomb. And so definitely do that and keep us posted on that. So hey, few more winter gardening questions there for you. Hope that these are helpful. And a quick reminder that tonight is the deadline for our flash sale that we're doing on our home gardening course. This is our flagship home gardening course, but a new released version of it that has bonus demonstration videos, so you can actually see us actually doing a lot of the things in the garden, worksheets, resources, and more on it. And there'll be a link in this page. The sale ends tonight, 50% off at midnight. So this is your last chance to get in with the savings. You'll see a link in the description of this video or in the post here with this video. Click on that link. It'll take you over to a page that looks like this. So you can see the countdown timer up here, and then you'll just scroll down. It's got all the information about the course there on that page, so you can read a lot more. You'll just click the order now button and you can jump down. There's 2 options for ordering it. It comes on a flash drive. You get it with just the Born to Grow home gardening course on the flash drive, and then we have an elite version that gives you online access plus over 50 additional resources, links out to other resources. It comes with our Born to Grow plug and play garden plans, so definitely check those out. Then you'll just click the order now button and it'll take you over to order page where you fill in the information. Complete your order and we'll get your flash drive shipped off there for you. So once again, the sale ends tonight at midnight, so this is your last chance to go do it. Definitely go do it. And thanks everyone for all of the gardening questions that you put in. We love answering your questions and hope that this has been a real blessing to you. So jump down, click that link, grab your gardening course. In fact, you can even get it like as a gift for your friends or for family. It's a great resource to really just take you step by step through growing your garden from start to finish. We have a lot of winter gardening training on there, how to keep your garden weed-free without spending hours and hours on your knees picking weeds. It'll save you so much time and effort in the work that you put into your garden, because we'll tell you the tools to use that will cut down on your labor by a ton. Teach how to deal with pests and diseases in a natural and an organic way that's effective in your garden as well. So once again, 50% off just through tonight, ends at midnight tonight Pacific time. So click on that, jump over to the page, grab your flash drive, and hey, we'll catch you next time. Hope that you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you soon.